Garrett Walsh hadn't slept through the night in 3 years, 2 months, and 14 days. He'd stopped counting the hours because math at 2 a.m. only made insomnia more depressing. Tonight, like every night, he lay in bed staring at the ceiling of his apartment above the Monarch Hotel. The same ceiling Claire had stared at during her last months. The same room, the same furniture, the same everything. He gave up at 2:13 a.m. The hotel was quiet. 28 rooms, most of them occupied, all of them sleeping. Everyone sleeping except him. He took the back stairs down to the lobby. He'd tell himself he was checking something. The radiator, the front door, the paint. It didn't matter, he just needed to move. To be somewhere that wasn't that bedroom. He heard it halfway down the stairs, humming. Not nervous humming, not the kind people do when they're trying to fill silence. This was real humming. Jazz humming. Fly Me to the Moon in perfect pitch with little ornamental runs that meant someone actually knew what they were doing. Garrett stopped. Jorge never hummed. Jorge, the usual night receptionist, was 63 and spent his shifts doing crossword puzzles in silence. Jorge had called in sick tonight. Someone new was covering. The humming continued. Garrett walked down the last 3 steps and turned the corner. The woman at the front desk was young, late 20s, dark hair pulled back in a clip. She wore the hotel uniform but had added a cardigan that definitely wasn't regulation. File folders spread across the desk in organized chaos. And she was humming like the empty lobby was her personal jazz club. She looked up, saw him, didn't stop humming, just nodded once, then went back to her filing, like this was completely normal. A hotel owner wandering the lobby at 2 a.m., a receptionist humming Sinatra at full volume, both of them pretending this was fine. Garrett cleared his throat. She finished the phrase she was humming, then stopped, looked up again. "Hi," she said, "you're up late. Before we begin, let us know in the comments what city you're watching from. And at the end, don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story." "I was checking the radiator," Garrett said. She glanced at the small desk calendar. "It's June. Preventative maintenance. Smart." She nodded seriously. Nothing worse than a July radiator emergency. She wasn't mocking him. Her face was completely straight. But her eyes had this little spark that said she knew exactly why he was there and she was going to let him keep his terrible excuse. "You're new," he said. "First night. Lucia Torres. Jorge called in sick. I'm covering from the day shift." She held out her hand. He shook it. Her hand was warm, small. She had calluses on her fingertips. Piano player, maybe. Or guitar. "Garrett Walsh, I own the hotel." "I know. Your picture is in the staff handbook. You look less tired in the photo." "That photo is 4 years old." "That explains it." She pulled her hand back, gestured at the lobby. "Everything okay with the radiator?" "Seems fine." "Good. That's a relief. I was worried." She was humoring him. She was absolutely humoring him. And somehow that made it better instead of worse. He should leave. Go back upstairs. Let her work. He didn't leave. "You hum a lot," he said. "I do. It's a condition. Chronic jazz humming. Very serious. No known cure." "Have you tried not humming?" "Where's the fun in that?" The corner of his mouth twitched, almost a smile. Not quite. He hadn't smiled in so long he'd forgotten what it felt like. "I'll let you work," he said. "Have a good night, Mr. Walsh." "Garrett. Garrett." He turned to leave, made it 3 steps. She started humming again, softer this time, a different song. "The very thought of you." He stopped, listened, then kept walking. Halfway up the stairs, he heard her whisper to herself. Perfect song for insomnia. Nothing says can't sleep, like Frank Sinatra asking to go to space. He cleared his throat again. Louder this time. The whispering stopped. He looked back. She was standing now, staring at him, eyes wide. "You heard that," she said. "Most of it. I have a condition. The words just come out." "Is that covered under the same condition as the humming?" "Same condition. Chronic jazz humming with verbal complications." "Sounds serious." "It is. Very embarrassing. My doctor says there's no hope." This time he definitely almost smiled. "Good night, Lucia." "Good night, Garrett." He went upstairs, got back into bed, stared at the ceiling, and realized he was thinking about something other than insomnia for the first time in 3 years. The next night, Garrett told himself he wouldn't go down to the lobby. He lasted until 2:07 a.m. She was there, of course she was there. Same desk, same cardigan, different song. "The very thought of you this time." Full volume, no shame. She looked up when appeared. "Evening," she said. "Evening." Garrett walked to the front door, checked the lock. It was fine. It was always fine. They had an excellent security system. "Everything okay?" she asked. "Just checking the front door lock." "I checked it at midnight. Different security protocols for different times." "Of course. Can never be too careful." She went back to her work. He stood by the door. Neither of them acknowledged that he'd just walked across the entire lobby to check a door that didn't need checking. "You know a lot of jazz," he said after a minute. "Used to teach music, middle school. Got laid off when they cut the arts program." "I'm sorry." "Me too," she shrugged. "But the night shift pays better than substitute teaching. And I can freelance during the day. Wedding singer, voice lessons, the dream." "You don't sound bitter." "I'm furious. But being bitter doesn't pay rent." "Fair point. The night shift has its perks anyway." She looked at the empty lobby, then at him. "Quiet, peaceful. No one bothers you. Except hotel owners checking doors. Except that." He should leave again. He wasn't leaving. "What's your favorite?" he asked. "Favorite what?" "Jazz standard." She thought about it. Really thought about it, like it was an important question. "Round midnight," she said finally. "Thelonious Monk. It sounds like insomnia feels." Garrett felt something shift in his chest. "That's very specific." "I have insomnia too. The songs help." "Do they?" "No, but they make being awake feel less lonely." They looked at each other. 3 seconds. 5. Neither of them looked away. She broke first, went back to her files. "I should let you work," he said. "Probably." He didn't move. "Good night, Lucia." "Good night, Garrett." He made it to the elevator this time before he heard her start humming again. "Someone to watch over me." He pressed the elevator button. The doors opened. He got in and realized he was going, to be finding reasons to come downstairs every night now. Night 3, 2:15 a.m. Garrett walked into the lobby and smelled chamomile tea. Lucia was behind the desk with 2 mugs, steam rising. She looked up. "You're late," she said. "I'm not late. You came down at 2:13 on night 1, 2:07 on night 2, now it's 2:15, that's late." "You've been timing me?" "I notice patterns, it's a skill." She pushed one of the mugs toward him. "Chamomile tea for fellow insomniacs. I make extra. Will it help?" "Absolutely not, but it's warm, and company helps more than tea." He picked up the mug, sat down in one of the lobby chairs. She came around the desk, sat across from him. They drank terrible tea in the empty lobby at 2:15 in the morning. "How long?" she asked. "How long what?" "The insomnia." 3 years. "That's a long time." "It is." "What happened 3 years ago?" He looked at her. She looked back, not pushing, just asking. Like it was a normal question instead of the one that made his chest hurt. "My wife died. I'm sorry." "Thank you." Is that why you check radiators at 2 a.m.? Yes. Better than lying in bed? Much better. She nodded, took another sip of tea, made a face. This is terrible, she said. It really is. Want more? Absolutely. She got up, made another round, came back. Can I ask you something? She said. Sure. Why jazz? You said the songs help. Why jazz specifically? My grandmother. She was a lounge singer in the 60s, Vegas. She said jazz was like feelings with better rhythm. That's beautiful. She was beautiful. Died when I was 12, but I still have all her records. Do you sing? Terribly. But I hum a lot. I've noticed. I know you have. They smiled, both of them, at the same time, then looked away at the same time. The lobby felt smaller suddenly, warmer. What do? She asked, when you're not checking radiators and door locks? I run the hotel. Besides, that's it. The hotel is everything. That sounds lonely. It is. Then I'm glad you check radiators. Me too. They finished their tea. It was 3:27 a.m. Early morning flights would start arriving soon. Guests would come down for breakfast. The day shift would take over. I should go, Garrett said. Probably. He stood up. She stood up. Thank you for the tea, he said. It was terrible. It was perfect. He walked to the elevator, pressed the button. The doors opened. He turned back. She was watching him, not pretending to work, just watching. Same time tomorrow? He asked. I'll have the tea ready. Good night, Lucia. Good night, Garrett. The elevator doors closed. Lucia stood in the empty lobby, alone, surrounded by file folders and cold mugs and the faint smell of chamomile. She started humming again. Someone to watch over me. Louder this time. She wasn't pretending anymore either. The next morning, Garrett met with his hotel manager in his office, 3rd floor, windows overlooking the street. The new night receptionist is working out well, Garrett said. Lucia, she's great. Guests love her, very personable. Good. Keep her on permanent night shift if she wants it. Will do. The hotel manager left. Garrett turned to his computer. The door opened again. Vanessa Hartley walked in without knocking. She never knocked. Minority stakeholder in the hotel. His late wife's business partner. The person who called every Tuesday at 9 a.m. to tell him what he was doing wrong. Morning, Garrett. Vanessa. She sat down across from his desk. Perfectly tailored suit. Expensive bag. The look of someone who had opinions and planned to share all of them. Numbers look good, she said. Summer bookings are up. Good. But we need to talk about modernization. The lobby needs updating. The website is outdated. We should consider a... No, you didn't let me finish. You were going to suggest changing things. Claire built a beautiful hotel, but it's been 3 years. The market has changed. Guest expectations have changed. The hotel is fine. The hotel is stuck in 2022. Garrett didn't answer. Vanessa sighed. I'm just saying, think about it. We can't stay frozen forever. She stood up, started to leave, paused at the door. I heard you hired a new night receptionist. Jorge is getting older. We needed backup. I should meet her, make sure she's a good fit. She's a good fit. I'm sure she is, but I like to meet all new staff. It's important. She left. Garrett sat at his desk, stared at his computer screen, and realized that Vanessa meeting Lucia was the last thing he wanted to happen. That night, 2:08 a.m., Garrett walked into the lobby. Lucia was at the desk, 2 mugs of tea already steaming. She looked up, smiled. Right on time, she said. I'm consistent. You're predictable. Is that bad? It's adorable. She said it without thinking, then froze, looked mortified. I didn't mean a... It's fine. That was inappropriate. It wasn't. I called my boss adorable. I'm not really your boss, I just own the building. That's literally what a boss is. Fair point. They stared at each other. The tea was getting cold. Lucia picked up her mug, took a sip, made the same face she always made. Still terrible, she said. We could try a different kind. No, this is tradition now. 3 nights of terrible chamomile tea, we're committed. Tradition after 3 nights? That's how traditions start. You do something twice, and by the 3rd time you can't stop. Garrett picked up his mug, sat down in his usual chair. She came around the desk, sat in her usual chair. They drank their terrible tea and talked about nothing and everything. The weather, guests, the history of the hotel, her grandmother's jazz career, his wife's dream of creating the perfect boutique hotel. At 4:47 a.m., Lucia said, I should probably do some actual work. Probably. Neither of them moved. This is nice, she said, having someone to talk to. It is. The night shift is usually just me and Jorge's crossword puzzles. How does Jorge feel about being replaced? He's thrilled. He took a cruise with the time off, sent me a postcard of a beach. Living the dream. He really is. Garrett stood up. She stood up. Same time tomorrow? He asked. I'll make the tea. Looking forward to it. He walked to the elevator, pressed the button, waited. Behind him, Lucia started humming. The nearness of you. He smiled, actually smiled. The doors opened. Good night, Lucia. Good night, Garrett. The doors closed. Lucia stood alone in the lobby. Put both mugs in the small staff kitchen. Came back to her desk. She whispered to herself, You're humming love songs at your boss. This is definitely a smart life choice. Very professional. No complications here. She looked at the empty elevator doors and kept humming anyway. 5 nights became a pattern. Night 4, Garrett came down at 2:11 a.m. and announced he was verifying paint color consistency. In the dark, Lucia asked. Different lighting conditions matter, very important for hotel aesthetics. Of course, I understand completely. She was humming Let's Fall in Love. Not subtle at all. He pretended not to notice the song choice. She pretended not to notice him pretending. They drank their terrible tea. Night 5, he arrived at 2:06 a.m. I heard suspicious door sounds, he said. Lucia looked around the empty lobby. I didn't hear anything. Exactly, that's what's suspicious. The silence is suspicious. Very suspicious. You should probably investigate thoroughly. I plan to. He sat down. She brought the tea. They talked about nothing important for 2 hours. When he left, she was humming The Nearness of You. He heard it all the way to the elevator. Night 6. He didn't even bother with an excuse. Just walked in at 2:13 a.m. and said hi. Hi? Tea ready? Always. They were past pretending now. This was just what they did, what they were. 2 insomniacs drinking terrible chamomile tea at 2 a.m. like it was the most natural thing in the world. You're consistent, she said. You said that already. It's still true every night, same time, like clockwork. Is that boring? It's the opposite of boring. She said it while looking at her mug, not at him. Like if she looked at him while saying it, it would mean too much. He understood that feeling. What song is that? He asked. Someone to Watch Over Me. Gershwin. You've played that one before. I have. It's a favorite. Why? Because sometimes you need someone to watch over you and sometimes you need to watch over someone else. The song works both ways. She looked at him then. He looked back. Neither of them said anything. The tea was getting cold. I should let you work, he said. You say that every night. I mean it every night. I know, but you never leave right away. Is that okay? It's the best part of my shift. She said it simply, like it was just a fact. The sky was blue, the tea was terrible. Garrett Walsh coming down at 2 a.m. was the best part of her shift. Mine too, he said. My shift, or night, or whatever we're calling this. I don't know what we're calling this. Neither do I. We should probably figure that out. Probably. Neither of them moved. The morning came slowly, the way mornings do when you want them to wait. At 6:45 a.m., Lucia was finishing her paperwork. End of shift. Beginning of day. The front door opened. A woman walked in. Young, Asian, bright smile, day shift receptionist uniform. Morning, Lucia. Morning, Zoe. Zoe Chen had worked at the Monarch for 2 years. She knew everything, noticed everything, and she was currently staring at something behind Lucia with very interested eyebrows. Lucia turned around. Garrett was standing near the concierge desk, pretending to review paperwork. He'd been there for 20 minutes, just standing, holding papers, not leaving. Morning, Mr. Walsh, Zoe said sweetly. Morning, Zoe. Up early? Couldn't sleep. Right, of course. Garrett nodded at Lucia, walked to the elevator, left. The elevator doors closed. Zoe turned to Lucia slowly, smile growing. So, don't, Lucia said. The boss has been checking the lobby a lot lately. He's very thorough about maintenance. Lucia, what? He just checked the same plant 3 times while you were organizing receipts. It's a nice plant. It's a plastic plant. Still nice. Zoe leaned against the desk, crossed her arms. The smile was enormous now. You're humming love songs at a man who has invented 17 reasons to see you. 18. He checked the curtains yesterday. Oh my God, 18. It's not like that. What's it like? Lucia picked up her bag, started gathering her things. We talk, at night, when the hotel is quiet, that's all. That's not all. It is. Lucia. Zoe. They looked at each other. Best friend standoff. He hasn't smiled in 3 years, Zoe said quietly. Not since his wife died. The staff has noticed. We've been worried. I know. This week he's been smiling, coming down to the lobby every night, staying until almost 7 in the morning, checking plastic plants. I noticed. He likes you. We're friends. Friends don't hum the nearness of you at each other. Lucia felt her face get hot. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, you do. Lucia left, walked out of the hotel into the morning sunlight, and realized Zoe was right. She was humming love songs at her boss. This was definitely a smart life choice. That night, 2:20 a.m., Garrett walked into the lobby. Lucia was at the desk, humming Someone to Watch Over Me again. 4th time this week, she murmured to herself. Okay, Lucia. Someone to watch over me. Very subtle. He definitely won't interpret that. Great choice. Very professional. From behind her. I heard all of that. She spun around, face going red. Of course you did. For what it's worth, I like that one. You do? You've played it 4 times this week. It's growing on me. She stared at him. He'd been counting. He'd been counting her songs. Tea, she managed, please. They sat, drank. The lobby was quiet except for the sound of terrible chamomile tea being sipped. Can I ask you something? Lucia said. Sure. Why do you really come down here every night? Garrett looked at his mug, then at her. Because lying in bed alone is worse. Because the hotel is mine, but it doesn't feel like mine. Because for 3 years I've been going through motions and pretending to be alive. And then you started humming jazz at 2 a.m. and I wanted to be here instead of anywhere else. Lucia didn't say anything. Is honest enough? He asked. It's perfect. Your turn. Why do you hum all the time? Because my grandmother told me that silence is the worst kind of lonely. She said music fills the spaces where people should be. When I got laid off from teaching, I stopped being around people, so I hummed instead, filled the quiet. Does it work? Not really, but it's better than nothing. And now? Now I'm humming because someone is listening. They looked at each other. The tea was cold now. Neither of them cared. I should go, he said. He didn't go. Tomorrow? He asked. I'll have the tea ready. Looking forward to it. He stood up, started walking to the elevator. Behind him, she started humming again. Louder this time. The nearness of you. He stopped, turned around. She was smiling. I know what you're doing, he said. I know you know. Good night, Lucia. Good night, Garrett. The elevator doors closed. Lucia sat at the desk, alone, surrounded by file folders and terrible tea and the memory of his voice saying her name. She whispered to herself, "You are in so much trouble." She was. The next morning, Garrett met with Vanessa in his office. I've been thinking about your suggestion, Vanessa said, about modernization. I said no. I know, but I want to revisit it. We could update the lobby, new furniture, better lighting. A refresh would attract younger guests. The hotel is fine. Garrett, Vanessa. She sighed, put her hands on his desk, leaned forward. I'm worried about you. Don't be. You're spending nights in the lobby, the staff has noticed. Garrett felt his stomach drop. So? So it looks unprofessional. You're the owner, you can't be wandering the hotel at 2 a.m. I check things, it's my hotel. Every single night? Yes. What are you checking? Everything. Nothing. The sound of jazz humming and the way Lucia smiled when the tea was terrible and the feeling of wanting something instead of just existing. Security, he said, maintenance, normal things. Vanessa studied him. I heard we have a new night receptionist. Jorge is getting older, we needed backup coverage. I'd like to meet her, what's her name? Lucia Torres. Pretty name. It's a name. How is she working out? Fine, great. The guests like her. And you? What about me? Do you like her? Garrett looked at Vanessa. His late wife's best friend, business partner, the person who'd held his hand at Claire's funeral and told him it would get better eventually. I'm not having this conversation, he said. I'm just asking. Don't. Garetta. Vanessa, please. She backed off, picked up her bag, walked to the door. I'm coming by tonight, she said, to meet this new receptionist, see how the night shift operates, just business. You don't need to. I'll be there at midnight. She left. Garrett sat at his desk, put his head in his hands. This was bad. That night, 2:11 a.m. Garrett walked into the lobby. Vanessa was there, standing next to the front desk, talking to Lucia, smiling her professional smile that meant she was evaluating something. Lucia was answering questions, polite, professional. Her cardigan was gone, just the uniform. Her posture was straighter. She wasn't humming. Garrett stopped at the bottom of the stairs. Both women turned to look at him. Garrett, Vanessa said. Funny seeing you here. I was checking. The radiator, I know. Vanessa's smile got sharper. You check it a lot. Lucia's face was carefully neutral. She wasn't looking at him. I was just talking to Lucia, Vanessa continued. Getting to know our night shift staff. She's lovely, very professional. She's excellent at her job. I'm sure she is. Vanessa picked up her bag. I should go. Let you both get back to work. She walked past Garrett, stopped, said quietly, Be careful. Then she was gone. The lobby was silent. Garrett looked at Lucia. Lucia looked at her computer screen. You don't have to explain, she said. She's my late wife's business partner. She's protective of the hotel. I understand. Do you? You're the owner. I'm the night receptionist. She thinks it looks unprofessional. I don't care what it looks like. Maybe you should. She still wasn't looking at him. Lucia, you should go. Check your radiator, or whatever. Are you mad at me? I'm not mad, I'm just, I don't know, tired. He wanted to say something. Wanted to cross the lobby and tell her that Vanessa didn't matter. That what they had was real and good and the only thing that made sense anymore. He didn't say any of that. Good night, he said. Good night. He went upstairs. Lucia sat at the desk, put her headphones on, tried to work, didn't hum. The next morning, end of shift, Lucia found a note tucked under the desk lamp. Small piece of hotel stationery, careful handwriting. The radiator excuse was terrible. The truth is, I like talking to you. I like listening to you hum. I like that you make terrible tea and that you know every jazz standard ever written and that you laugh at my excuses even though we both know they're ridiculous. I'm sorry about Vanessa. I'm sorry if I made things awkward, but I'm not sorry about coming down to the lobby every night. Ew, gee. Lucia read it 3 times, turned the paper over, found a pen, wrote, "The humming was intentional, in case you were wondering. The songs were picked specifically for you, because I wanted you to listen. I'm not sorry either. Lo." She left it on his desk, 3rd floor office, under a paperweight shaped like a small bronze hotel. Then she went home. Didn't sleep, kept thinking about his handwriting and the way he said her name and the fact that this was going to get complicated. It already was complicated. That night, 2:04 a.m., Garrett walked into the lobby. No excuse, no pretending, just walked up, just walked, to the desk and said, "Hi. Hi. I got your note. I got yours. So we're not pretending anymore? Were we ever? Not really?" She smiled. He smiled. The lobby felt warm. "Tea?" she asked. Please." She made it. He took his usual chair. She took hers. They didn't talk about Vanessa, didn't talk about professionalism or what it looked like or what anyone thought. They just talked. About jazz, about the hotel, about Claire, about teaching music, about his wife's dream of creating the perfect boutique space, about Lucia's students and how much she missed them, about insomnia and grief and feeling stuck and finding small moments of joy in unexpected places. At 2:47 a.m., Lucia said, "Can I ask you something? Anything. Why jazz? Why does Claire's hotel have jazz playing in the elevator?" Garrett smiled, a real smile, the kind that reached his eyes. "Because she loved it. When we first met, she was singing at a small club, terrible singer, no rhythm, but this joy. Like the music was bigger than she was and she didn't care if she got it right. She just wanted to be part of it. She sounds wonderful." She was. "Do you miss her?" "Every day, but lately I've been thinking about the future more than the past, and I think she'd be happy about that." Lucia didn't say anything, just reached across the small table between them and put her hand on his. He turned his hand over, laced his fingers with hers. They sat like that, holding hands, not talking, just being. At 4 a.m. she said, "What's my song?" "What? You said everyone has a jazz song. What's mine?" He thought about it, really thought about it. "Round midnight," he said finally. "The one you said sounds like insomnia, because you're awake when everyone else is sleeping, and you fill the quiet with something beautiful." She felt tears in her eyes, blinked them away. "That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. It's true? Then I have a theory about your song." "What is it?" "The very thought of you, because you're always thinking, always in your head, always careful. But underneath all that thinking there's feeling, real feeling. You just don't let it out very often. He stared at her. Play it, he said. She stood up, went to the small Bluetooth speaker behind the desk, found the song. Billie Holiday's voice filled the empty lobby. Lucia came back, stood in front of him. Dance with me, she said. I'm a terrible dancer. I don't care. He stood up, put one hand on her waist, took her hand with the other. They swayed, barely moving, just holding each other while Billie Holiday sang about love and longing and the very thought of someone. The song ended. They didn't stop dancing. Lucia, he said quietly. Yeah? I think I'm going to kiss you now. It's about time. He leaned in. She leaned in. The phone rang. They jumped apart, both of them, like teenagers caught by a parent. The phone rang. Again. Lucia ran to the desk, picked it up. Monarch Hotel, how can I help you? Her voice was professional, breathless but professional. She listened. Her face changed. Of course, I'll send someone right up. Room 412, yes, thank you. She hung up. Guest emergency. Someone locked themselves out of their room. I'll go. You don't have to. I want to. He went to the elevator, got the spare key, went upstairs. When he came back 10 minutes later, Lucia was behind the desk, filing papers, very focused on filing papers. All set? She asked. All set. They looked at each other. We should probably talk about what just almost happened, he said. Probably. Tomorrow? Tomorrow. He walked to the elevator, pressed the button, waited. She started humming again, soft this time, almost shy. The nearness of you. He turned around. She was smiling, that smile that made the lobby feel like the center of the world. Good night, Lucia. Good night, Garrett. The elevator doors closed. Lucia stayed at the desk, touched her lips. The kiss that didn't happen, whispered to herself, tomorrow, and kept humming. Tomorrow became every night, night 7. Garrett brought her coffee from her favorite place, the one 3 blocks away that made oat milk lattes with cinnamon. How did you know my order? Lucia asked. You mentioned it once, 2 weeks ago. You said their cinnamon was the only thing that made early mornings bearable. You remembered that? I remember everything you say. She stared at him. He handed her the coffee. Thank you, she said quietly. You're welcome. They drank their coffee, then made their terrible tea. The lobby at 2 a.m. had become their place, their time, their world. Night 8. She taught him about jazz theory, tried to explain the difference between swing and bebop using only humming. I don't hear the difference, he admitted. That's because you're listening with your brain. Try listening with your body. How do I do that? Close your eyes. He closed them. She hummed. Round midnight. Slow, melancholy, each note landing like a raindrop. Feel that? She asked. Yes. That's the space between the notes. That's what makes jazz jazz. The silence matters as much as the sound. He opened his eyes. She was watching him. You're a good teacher, he said. I miss it. Teaching. Having students who actually wanted to learn. They were lucky to have you. They didn't think so. 12-year-olds don't appreciate jazz theory. Their loss? She smiled. You're biased. Completely. Night 9. They played 20 questions, personal edition. Worst thing you've ever cooked? She asked. Pasta. Burned water somehow. That's actually impressive. Thank you, your turn. Worst performance ever? Wedding last year. Sang Unchained Melody at the reception. The groom's ex-girlfriend showed up. There was crying, shouting, thrown cake. I just kept singing. Very awkward. Did you finish the song? I'm a professional, of course I finished. That's actually impressive. Thank you. They were sitting closer now, not touching. but close enough that their knees almost touched when they shifted. "Scariest moment of your life?" he asked. "When they told me the music program was cut. I went home and cried for 3 days. Felt like I'd lost my purpose. You didn't lose it. You just haven't found where it goes next." "Maybe." "Your turn." "Scariest moment of your life?" she asked. His face changed, the smile faded. "The day Claire died, she was in the hospital. I was holding her hand. She looked at me and said, 'Don't stop living.' Then she was gone. And I was terrified because I didn't know how to keep that promise." Lucia reached across the space between them, took his hand. "You're keeping it now," she said. "Am I? You're here. You're awake. You're drinking terrible tea with a woman who hums too much. That's living." He looked at their joined hands. "I haven't felt this awake in years," he murmured, barely audible, like he was talking to himself. Lucia heard it anyway. She always heard him. "I know," she said softly. He looked up, realized she'd heard. "How long have you been listening to my murmurs?" "Since the beginning. You do it too. When you think I'm not paying attention, you talk to yourself. What do I say? Nice things, mostly about tea, sometimes about me." "That's embarrassing. It's sweet. What do I say about you? That you like my humming. That you're glad I'm here. That you haven't felt this alive in years." He didn't let go of her hand. "All true," he said. "I know." Night 10. Carlos the valet knocked on Garrett's office at 7 p.m. "Boss, quick question." "Yes?" "Why is there a piano being delivered to the lobby tomorrow?" Garrett looked up from his paperwork. "Because Lucia mentioned she missed playing. And the lobby has space. That's a really nice gesture. It's just a piano. It's not just a piano." "Carlos." "Boss." They looked at each other. Carlos was grinning. "Everyone knows, don't they?" Garrett asked. "Everyone knows. Marta cried when she heard. Zoe is planning your wedding. It's a whole thing. We're not, You're not hiding it very well. I'm not trying to hide it. Good, because you shouldn't. We're all happy for you." Carlos left. Garrett sat at his desk and realized he was smiling. That night, 2:17 a.m., Lucia walked into the lobby for her shift. There was a piano in the corner, small, upright, beautiful dark wood with brass fixtures. She stopped, stared. Garrett was sitting in his usual chair, drinking his usual terrible tea, watching her face. "You bought a piano," she said. "The lobby needed one." "Garrett, you said you missed playing." "I did. So play?" She walked to the piano, sat down, touched the keys. They were perfectly in tune. She started playing. "The very thought of you." Soft at first, then stronger. Garrett stood up, walked over, stood behind her. "This is too much," she said while playing. "It's not enough. People will talk. Let them." She finished the song, turned on the bench to face him. "Why are you doing this?" "Because you make terrible chamomile tea at 2 a.m. and hum jazz standards like the empty lobby is Carnegie Hall. Because you remember coffee orders and teach jazz theory to hotel owners who can't hear the difference between swing and bebop. Because when I'm with you, I forget to count the hours I haven't slept." "Garrett, I like you, Lucia. I more than like you. And I don't want to pretend anymore." She stood up, faced him. They were inches apart. "I don't want to pretend either." "Good." He kissed her, not almost, not interrupted, just kissed her in the lobby at 2:17 a.m. next to the piano he bought because she missed playing. She kissed him back. When they broke apart, she whispered, "That took you long enough. I'm sorry, I'm out of practice. We should practice more." "I agree." He kissed her again. She wrapped her arms around his neck. The piano was silent. The lobby was empty. The world was theirs. "I have a confession," she said when they finally stopped. "What?" Every song I've hummed for the past 2 weeks, every single one, I picked them for you. I know. You know? Lucia, you played Let's Fall in Love 12 times. It's a good song. It is, but it's also very obvious. Was I that transparent? Completely, I loved it. She laughed. He kissed her again, just because he could. The next morning, Zoe arrived for day shift. Saw the piano, saw Garrett leaving at 7:15 a.m. Saw the look on Lucia's face. Oh my God. Don't, Lucia said. You kissed him. Maybe. You definitely kissed him. You have that face. The I just kissed someone face. I don't have a face. You absolutely have a face. It's glowing. You're glowing. Marta walked in, saw Lucia, saw the piano, gasped. He bought you a piano. He bought the lobby a piano. He bought you a piano, Lucia. That man is in love with you. We just kissed, that's all. Just kissed? Zoe practically yelled. Just. Okay. It was a really good kiss. I knew it. Marta clapped her hands. I told Carlos. I said that boy hasn't smiled in 3 years and now look at him. He's alive again. It's not that dramatic. It absolutely is that dramatic. You brought him back to life. Lucia felt tears in her eyes. I just hummed some songs. You did more than that, honey. Marta pulled her into a hug. You reminded him what joy feels like. That's no small thing. Lucia hugged her back, let herself cry a little. What if I mess this up? She whispered. You won't. But what if, you won't. Now go home, get some sleep, come back tonight and keep making that man smile. Lucia left. Zoe turned to Marta. $5 says they're engaged by Christmas. $10 says married by spring. Deal. 1 week later, Garrett stopped pretending to check radiators. He just came down at 2 a.m. every night. Because Lucia was there. Because they had tea and talked and kissed in the empty lobby while the city slept around them. Night 14. She taught him how to play basic chords on the piano. He was terrible. She laughed the entire time. I don't think I'm musically inclined, he said. You're musically declined. That's mean. But accurate. He kissed her. She kissed him back. Play something for me, he said. What do you want to hear? Your favorite. She played Round Midnight. Slow and beautiful. He sat next to her on the bench, watched her hands move, watched her face, watched her be completely herself. I love watching you play, he said when she finished. Why? Because you're not performing. You're just being. You don't have to be anything else when you're at this piano. I don't have to be anything else when I'm with you. Good. Night 15. Vanessa walked into the lobby at 11 p.m. Lucia was starting her shift. Garrett wasn't there yet. He usually came down around 2 a.m. Good evening, Lucia. Good evening, Ms. Hartley. Call me Vanessa. We're colleagues. Of course. Vanessa walked around the lobby, looked at the piano, ran her hand along the wood. New addition, she said. Yes, it arrived last week. Garrett's idea? I believe so. It's lovely, expensive, very generous. Lucia didn't say anything, kept organizing the desk, kept her face neutral. Vanessa came to the desk, leaned against it. You and Garrett seem close. We're friendly. The staff seems to think it's more than friendly. Lucia looked up. Vanessa's face was pleasant, professional, but her eyes were evaluating. Is there a problem? Lucia asked. No problem. I just think it's important to maintain professional boundaries. This hotel has a reputation. Garrett is the owner. Your staff. People notice these things. I understand. I'm not saying anything is inappropriate. I'm just reminding you to be careful. Garrett has been through a lot. He's vulnerable right now. I'd hate to see him hurt. The implication was clear. You could hurt him. You're not good enough. Know your place. Lucia felt her chest tighten. I would never hurt him. I'm sure you wouldn't intentionally, but sometimes these situations get complicated. Just something to think about. Vanessa left. Lucia sat at the desk, hands shaking slightly. Professional boundaries. Know your place. Your staff. He's the owner. Maybe Vanessa was right. Maybe this was complicated. Maybe she was being stupid. At 2:13 a.m., Garrett walked into the lobby. Lucia was at the desk, headphones in, working. He smiled, started walking over. She looked up, didn't smile back. He stopped. Hey. Hi. Everything okay? Fine. You have your headphones in. You never have your headphones in. When I'm here. I'm working. Lucia, what's wrong? She took the headphones off, looked at him. Really looked at him. Vanessa came by tonight. His face changed. What did she say? That we should maintain professional boundaries, that people notice things, that you're vulnerable and I should be careful. She had no right. Maybe she's right. She's not. Garrett, you're the owner. I'm the night receptionist. This is complicated. So maybe we should be more careful. I don't want to be careful. I want to be with you. What if this doesn't work? What if we try and it falls apart and then I lose my job and you lose? I don't know. Whatever this is. He crossed the lobby, came around the desk, took her hands. Look at me, she did. Do you want this? He asked. Do you want us? Yes. Then nothing else matters. Not Vanessa, not professional boundaries, not what anyone thinks, just us, what we want. People will talk. Let them talk. Your business partner thinks I'm crossing a line. Vanessa doesn't get to decide who I spend my time with, who I care about. Do you care about me? Lucia. I haven't felt this way since Claire. I wasn't sure I could feel this way again. You made me want to be awake. You made me want to live, so yes, I care about you more than care about you. She felt tears in her eyes. This is scary. I know. What if I mess this up? You won't. But what if... He kissed her, soft, gentle, until she stopped talking and just kissed him back. We'll figure it out, he said. Together, okay? Okay. Now, do we have tea? Always. She made the tea. They sat in their usual chairs, held hands across the small table. Can I ask you something? She said. Anything. Why now? Why me? After 3 years of being alone, why did you let me in? He thought about it. Really thought about it. Because you didn't ask me to be anything other than what I was. You didn't try to fix me or change me or tell me to move on. You just sat with me at 2 a.m. and hummed jazz standards and made terrible tea. You let me be broken, and somehow that made me feel less broken. You're not broken. I was, for a long time, but you... He squeezed her hand. You reminded me what it feels like to want something, to look forward to something. I come down to this lobby every night and I'm excited. Actually excited, that's new. I'm excited too, she admitted. Every shift, I check the clock, wait for 2 a.m., count the minutes until you walk through that door. So we're doing this. We're doing this. Even though it's complicated. Because it's complicated. He smiled. She smiled. The tea was terrible. Everything was perfect. At 2:37 a.m. they were standing by the piano. Play something, he said. What? Something happy, something that sounds like this, like us. She thought for a moment, then started playing. At last, Etta James, powerful, romantic. The song, about finally finding love after waiting. He listened, watched her play, felt something in his chest that he'd forgotten existed. Hope. I love this song, he said when she finished. I've been saving it. For what? For this. For when it was real? When I knew? Knew what? That I was falling in love with you. He stared at her. She stared back. No takebacks. No hedging. Just honesty. I'm falling in love with you too, he said. Good. Is that all you're going to say? What else is there to say? I don't know. Something romantic. We're having a moment. Fine. I think you're wonderful. I think about you constantly. I think that 3 weeks ago I was just going through motions and now I'm actually living. Happy? Very. He kissed her. She kissed him back. The piano was silent. The lobby was theirs. 1 perfect week. 7 perfect nights. They stopped hiding. Stopped pretending. The staff knew. Guests probably knew. Neither of them cared. Night 16. Garrett brought her dinner during her shift. Chinese takeout from the place that stayed open until 3 a.m. Lo mein and spring rolls, he said. How did you know? Zoe told me. Zoe is a snitch. Zoe is a romantic. They ate together in the lobby. Talked about everything. Laughed about nothing. Night 17, she played him every jazz standard she could think of. Made up facts about the composers. He believed her until she claimed Duke Ellington was from Mars. That's not true. How do you know? Because Mars isn't real. Mars is absolutely real. I mean, the planet is real, but people aren't from there. You can't prove that. I definitely can. Prove it. He kissed her instead. She didn't argue. Night 18, they danced. Again. For no reason except that the lobby was empty and the piano was there and she was humming. You're still a terrible dancer, she said. I'm improving. You stepped on my foot twice. That's down from 3 times. Yesterday. Progress. Slow progress. I'll take it. Night 19, Marta found them asleep in the lobby at 6 a.m. Both of them on the couch. Lucia's head on his shoulder, his arm around her waist. Marta took a photo, sent it to Zoe with the caption, I told you, spring wedding. She didn't wake them up, just left them sleeping, finally sleeping, together. Night 20, Garrett said, I think I'm falling in love with you. You think? I know, I'm definitely falling in love with you. I just wanted to say it more slowly, make it romantic. Say it faster. I love you. Better? Your turn. I love you too. I think I already did, from the first night. When you said you were checking the radiator in June, that's when I knew. That's when you knew? The excuse was so bad, but you looked so earnest, like you really believed I'd buy it. That's when I knew you were worth humming for. That's the most romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. Good. They kissed. In the lobby, at 3:14 a.m., surrounded by terrible tea and a piano and the memory of 3 weeks of 2 a.m. conversations. Will you have dinner with me? He asked. Somewhere that's not the lobby at 2 a.m. Only if we come back here after. This is our place. Deal. 1 perfect week. Then Vanessa arrived. Thursday morning, 9 a.m., Garrett's office. Vanessa walked in without knocking. She never knocked. We need to talk. I'm busy. Make time. This is important. Garrett looked up from his computer. Vanessa's face was serious, professional, the face she wore when she was about to say something he wouldn't like. I'm bringing investors to evaluate the hotel, she said. No. I already scheduled it. They're coming next week. I'm not selling. You don't have to sell, but we need to know the hotel's value for planning purposes. What planning purposes? Future planning, expansion, modernization, insurance. It's standard business practice. It's you trying to force me to sell. It's me trying to protect Claire's legacy. This hotel meant everything to her. We built it together. I want to make sure it thrives. It is thriving. Garrett. She sat down, softened her voice. You're distracted. You're spending nights in the lobby. You're buying pianos. You're involved with staff. This isn't like you. Maybe this is exactly like me. Maybe I'm finally being myself again. Or maybe you're making decisions based on emotions instead of logic. My personal life is none of your business. When it affects the hotel, it becomes my business. The night receptionist doesn't affect the hotel. Lucia. Her name is Lucia, and yes, she does. The staff gossips. Guests notice. Your behavior has consequences. Then they can notice. I don't care. You should care. Why? Because you think I'm moving on too fast? Because you think I'm dishonoring Claire's memory? I loved Claire. I will always love Claire, but she told me not to stop living. She told me to be happy. And Lucia makes me happy. Vanessa stood up. I'm not trying to hurt you, I'm trying to help you. Then cancel the investor meeting. I can't, it's already scheduled. She walked to the door, stopped. Just be careful, that's all I'm asking. Think about what you're doing. Think about the consequences. She left. Garrett sat at his desk, put his head in his hands. The investor meeting, Vanessa pushing, everything getting complicated. He pulled out his phone, texted Lucia. Can't wait to see you tonight. She texted back immediately. 2 a.m. I'll have the tea ready. He smiled. Whatever happened with Vanessa, whatever happened with the investors, he had this. He had her. That was enough. 3 days later, the investors arrived. Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. 3 people in expensive suits walking through the lobby with Vanessa. Lucia was finishing her shift, about to leave. She saw them, heard Vanessa's voice. Historic property, excellent location, strong summer bookings. There's potential here for significant growth. One of the investors asked about staffing. We're evaluating current operations, Vanessa said. Looking at efficiency. There may be some changes to improve profitability. Lucia felt her stomach drop. Changes. Staffing changes. She grabbed her bag, started walking toward the back exit, away from the investors, away from Vanessa's voice talking about her job like it was just a number on a spreadsheet. She passed Garrett's office. The door was half open, voices inside. She shouldn't stop, shouldn't listen, should just go home. She stopped. You need to end this thing with the receptionist, Vanessa said. Clear, firm, serious. Silence. Vanessa, Garrett's voice. It's inappropriate. It makes the hotel look unprofessional. If we're bringing in investors, if we're selling, we can't have the owner romantically involved with staff. We can't keep doing this. Another silence, then Garrett. You're right. We can't keep doing this. Lucia didn't wait to hear more. She left, fast, out the back door, into the morning sun. Her hands were shaking. We can't keep doing this. You're right. He agreed. He agreed with Vanessa. He was ending it. She made it 3 blocks before she had to stop, sit on a bench, try to breathe. Of course he was ending it. Of course, Vanessa was right. This was never going to work. Hotel owner and night receptionist. What was she thinking? She pulled out her phone, opened her email, started typing. Dear Mr. Walsh, please accept this letter as my formal resignation from the position of night receptionist at the Monarch Hotel. My last day will be 2 weeks from today. Thank you for the opportunity. Lucia Torres. She hit send before she could change her mind. Then she went home, didn't sleep, stared at the ceiling, and tried not to think about terrible tea and jazz standards and the way he said her name. That night, 11 p.m., Lucia arrived for her shift, put her headphones in, kept her head down, just worked. At 2:13 a.m., Garrett walked into the lobby. She didn't look up. Lucia. She kept typing, kept her headphones in. He came to the desk, stood there, waiting. She finally looked up, pulled one earbud out. Can I help you with something? Her voice was professional, cold, nothing like the warmth he was used to. Are you okay? He asked. Fine. You didn't text me back today. I was busy. Lucia, what's wrong? Nothing. Just working. Is this about the investors? No. Then what up? I'm working, Mr. Walsh. Was there something you needed? Mr. Walsh. Not Garrett. Not the name she'd been saying every night for 3 weeks. He felt something cold settle in his chest. Did something happen? No. Then why are you acting like this? Like what? Like you don't know me. Maybe I don't. She put her earbud back in, went back to typing. Garrett stood there, confused, hurt, trying to understand what had changed in the 12 hours since their last text. Okay, he said finally. I'll let you work. She didn't respond. He went back upstairs, lay in bed, stared at the ceiling, didn't sleep, and tried to figure out what he'd done wrong. The next morning, Garrett found an envelope in his office. Resignation letter. He read it 3 times. 2 weeks from today. Thank you for the opportunity. Formal. Professional. Like the past 3 weeks had never happened. He picked up his phone, called her. It went to voicemail, texted her, no response. Went down to the lobby during her shift. She was polite, professional, distant. Can we talk? He asked. I'm working. After your shift. I have plans. Lucia, please. There's nothing to talk about. I resigned. You'll have 2 weeks to find a replacement. I don't want a replacement. I want you. You can't always get what you want. She said it without looking at him, without any emotion, like he was just another guest. Just another person passing through. He left, went back to his office. Sat at his desk and realized she was really leaving. Day 2, Wednesday. Garrett didn't go down to the lobby, couldn't face her knowing she wouldn't talk to him, wouldn't look at him, wouldn't tell him what he'd done wrong. He lay in bed at 2 a.m., listened to the building, the quiet hum of the hotel, the distant sound of the elevator, the absence of jazz humming. He checked his phone. No messages. Sent another text. Please talk to me. No response. He stared at the ceiling until morning. Day 3, Thursday. Marta found him in his office at 4 a.m., sitting in the dark. Boss. Marta. What happened? I don't know. Lucia resigned. I know. Do you know why? No, she won't talk to me, won't tell me what I did. Marta sat down, studied his face. When did she change? She asked. Tuesday. After the investors came, she was fine. Monday night, we texted Tuesday morning. Then she came in for her shift and she was gone. Just gone. What happened Tuesday? The investor meeting. Vanessa was here. They toured the hotel. And nothing. I didn't even see Lucia. She left before I could talk to her. Marta's face changed. Understanding. She heard something. What? Lucia must have heard something during the meeting. Something that made her think you didn't want her. That's ridiculous. Of course I want her. Did you tell Vanessa that? Tell Vanessa what? That you want Lucia, that you love her, that she's not just the night receptionist. Garrett thought back. Tuesday morning, Vanessa in his office, the investors, the conversation. You need to end this thing with the receptionist. It's inappropriate. We can't keep doing this. You're right. We can't keep doing this. Oh, God. Lucia heard me talking to Vanessa, he said slowly. What did you say? Vanessa told me to end things with Lucia, said we can't keep doing this, and I said, you're right. We can't keep doing this. Oh, boss. But I was talking about Vanessa interfering, not about Lucia. The full sentence was, we can't keep doing this. You can't keep telling me how to live my life. Lucia must have only heard the first part. She thinks you agreed to end it. Oh, God. You have to tell her. She won't talk to me. Then make her listen. Garrett ran his hands through his hair. How? Figure it out. Because that girl is miserable, and you're miserable, and everyone who works here is tired of watching you both pretend you're fine when you're clearly not. She left. Garrett sat at his desk, thought about terrible tea and jazz standards and the way Lucia hummed when she thought no one was listening. Thought about losing her, really losing her. Not acceptable. He picked up his phone, started making calls. Friday morning. 7 a.m. Zoe arrived for her shift, saw Garrett leaving, saw his face, the exhaustion, the hurt. Saw Lucia at the desk, professional, efficient, completely shut down. Zoe waited until Lucia gathered her things. We need to talk. I'm tired, Zoe. I don't care, we're talking. Zoe pulled her to the back office, closed the door. What happened? Nothing. Lucia, I resigned, that's all. Why? Because it's better this way. Better for who? Everyone. That's crap. Lucia felt tears threatening, blinked them away. He agreed, Zoe. I heard him. Vanessa told him to end things and he agreed. What exactly did you hear? Vanessa said we can't keep doing this and he said you're right. That's pretty clear. Did you hear the rest of the conversation? I didn't need to. Yes, you did. Because Garrett Walsh is upstairs right now looking like he hasn't slept in 3 days. He's miserable. He keeps texting you. He came down to the lobby twice trying to talk to you. Does that sound like a man who wants to end things? Maybe he feels guilty. Or maybe you only heard part of a conversation and jumped to conclusions. Zoe, talk to him. Let him explain. You owe him that much. I don't owe him anything. Yes, you do. You love him. He loves you. You're throwing that away because you're scared. I'm not scared. You're terrified, but so is he. And at least he's trying to fight for you. What are you doing? Lucia didn't answer. Zoe softened her voice. Don't leave, Lucia. Don't run, not without hearing his side. It's too late. I already resigned. 2 weeks' notice isn't final. Talk to him. I can't. Why not? Because if I'm wrong, if he does want me, then I have to admit I was scared. I have to admit I almost threw away something real because I didn't think I deserved it. And if you're right, if he doesn't want you, then at least I protected myself. From what? From being happy? From taking a risk? That's not protection, Lucia. That's just being alone. Zoe left. Lucia stood in the back office, crying, knowing Zoe was right, but too scared to do anything about it. That night, Friday, 11 p.m., Lucia started her shift. Second to last week, 10 more days, then she'd be gone. She put her headphones in, started working. At 1:55 a.m., she heard something. Music. Live music. She took her headphones off, listened. Jazz coming from the lobby. She walked around the corner and stopped. There was a 3-piece band in the lobby, piano, bass, drums playing At Last, hotel staff sitting in chairs like an audience. Marta, Carlos, Zoe, Jorge, the housekeepers, the kitchen staff, everyone. And Garrett, standing in the middle, waiting. What is this? Lucia asked. This is me telling you the truth, Garrett said. In front of everyone. So you'll believe me. Garrett, just listen, please. She stayed by the desk, arms crossed, guarding her heart. He walked toward her, not all the way, just close enough that she could see his face. Tuesday morning, Vanessa told me to end things with you. She said, we can't keep doing this. And I said, you're right. We can't keep doing this. That's what you heard. Lucia nodded, felt tears starting. The full sentence was, you're right. We can't keep doing this. You can't keep interfering in my life. I was talking about Vanessa, not you. Never you. You said, I know what you heard, and I'm sorry you heard it that way. But I need you to hear the rest. I need you to hear what I've been trying to say for 3 days. The band kept playing. Soft, beautiful. At last, filling the lobby. 3 years ago, I stopped sleeping because I lost everything, Garrett said. I stopped wanting anything. Stopped hoping for anything. I was just existing, going through motions, keeping Claire's hotel exactly the same because changing anything felt like betraying her. He took a step closer. 6 months ago, I met you. You were humming Frank Sinatra at 2 a.m. like the empty lobby was Carnegie Hall. You made terrible tea and told me your grandmother said jazz was feelings with better rhythm. You didn't ask me to move on. You didn't try to fix me. You just sat with me. And somehow that made me want to be fixed. Another step. You taught me how to be awake again, how to want things, how to feel alive instead of just existing. You reminded me what joy feels like, what hope feels like, what love feels like. Lucia was crying now, couldn't help it. I love you, he said. I'm not ashamed of you. I'm proud of you. Proud to be with you. Proud that you chose me. And I don't care who knows. That's why I hired a jazz band at 2 a.m. That's why the entire staff is here watching. Because I want everyone to know that you're not just the night receptionist. You're the person I want to be with. You're the person I love. She tried to speak. Couldn't. Just stood there crying. He came closer, almost close enough to touch. I'm sorry I didn't say this sooner. I'm sorry I let you think. I agreed with Vanessa. I'm sorry I gave you any reason to doubt this, but I'm here now, in front of everyone, telling you the truth. I love you. I want you. Stay. The band finished at last. The lobby was quiet except for Marta openly sobbing in the front row. Lucia wiped her eyes. You hired a jazz band to tell me you love me. Is it too much? It's completely over the top. Is that bad? It's perfect. She closed the distance between them. He pulled her into his arms. I'm sorry, she whispered. I should have talked to you. I should have asked instead of assuming. I should have told Vanessa off weeks ago, should have made it clear that no one gets to tell me who I love. You love me? So much. I love you too. I'm sorry I tried to leave. You're staying? On one condition. Anything. No more excuses. If you come down to the lobby, it's because you want to see me and you say that. No radiators, no suspicious door sounds, just honesty. He smiled. The first real smile in 3 days. Deal. No more excuses, just the truth. I come down because I love you. Because being with you is the best part of my day, because you make terrible tea and hum jazz standards, and you're the reason I want to be awake. That's better? She kissed him. He kissed her back. The staff cheered. Marta sobbed louder. Zoe yelled, I told you so. When they broke apart, Lucia looked around at everyone watching. This is embarrassing. Good, Garrett said. I want everyone to know. Mission accomplished? Stay? I'll withdraw my resignation in the morning. Thank God. But you're keeping the band. They're booked until 4 a.m. Perfect. They danced in the lobby, in front of everyone, while a jazz trio played and the staff watched, and nobody cared about professional boundaries or what things looked like. Because sometimes love is worth the complication. At 3:17 a.m., the staff finally left. The band packed up. Garrett and Lucia were alone, in the lobby. Tea? She asked. Please. She made it, terrible as always. They sat in their usual chairs. I have something to tell you, Garrett said. What? I told Vanessa this morning before I planned all this. I told her I'm keeping the hotel, keeping you. And if she can't accept that, she can sell me her shares. What did she say? She's thinking about it. But I don't care what she decides. This hotel is mine, my life is mine, and I choose you. Lucia set down her tea. Took his hand. I choose you too, even when you hire jazz bands at 2 a.m. Especially when I hire jazz bands at 2 a.m. Fair point. They sat together, held hands, drank terrible tea. Outside, the city was waking up, morning coming slowly. Inside, 2 insomniacs were finally at peace. Can I ask you something? Lucia said. Anything. What happens next? What do you want to happen? I want more of this, more late nights, more terrible tea, more jazz, more you. Then that's what happens. That's simple. That's simple. She smiled. He smiled. The lobby was theirs again. I should probably do some actual work, she said. Probably. Neither of them moved. Tomorrow? He asked. Tomorrow. And every night after that. Promise. Promise. He kissed her. She kissed him back. And somewhere in the back office, Zoe texted Marta. Spring wedding. I'm calling it. You're on. I still say Christmas. Either way, I'm buying a fancy hat. Me too. 6 months later. The lobby of the Monarch Hotel looked different. The piano Garrett had bought for Lucia now sat in the corner with a small sign. Friday night jazz, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m., open to guests and neighbors. It was Lucia's idea. She'd mentioned it one night at 2 a.m. over terrible tea. Said she missed performing, missed sharing music with people. Garrett made it happen within a week. Now every Friday the lobby filled with music. Lucia played, sometimes sang. Local musicians joined her. Guests loved it. Neighborhood regulars came weekly. The hotel reviews mentioned romantic atmosphere and unique jazz nights and the most charming boutique hotel in the city. The hotel was thriving. But more than that, they were thriving. Lucia still worked the night shift, still hummed while filing paperwork, still made terrible chamomile tea at exactly 2 a.m. Garrett still came down every night, not to check radiators or door locks, just because he wanted to be there, wanted to be with her. Some nights they talked until morning, some nights they danced, some nights they just sat together in comfortable silence while the city slept around them. He slept better now, not perfectly. Insomnia didn't just disappear, but the 2 a.m. wandering felt different, less like haunting, more like choosing. He chose to be awake, chose to be with her. That made all the difference. You look happy, Marta said one morning. She was restocking towels in the supply closet. Garrett was passing by with coffee. I am. Good, you deserve it. Thank you, Marta. When are you going to ask her? Garrett stopped. Ask her what? Don't play dumb. Everyone knows you bought a ring 3 weeks ago. Carlos saw the jewelry store bag in your office. Carlos has a big mouth. Carlos is a romantic. We all are. So when? Soon. How soon? Very soon. Good. I have a wedding outfit picked out. I'm ready. She left. Garrett smiled. Everyone knew. The entire staff. They'd probably known he was going to propose before he knew. He pulled out his phone, checked the date, tonight. 1 year exactly since Lucia started her first night shift. 1 year since he heard humming on the stairs and stopped in his tracks. Tonight was the night. That evening, 7 p.m., Garrett met with Zoe in the back office. Is everything ready? He asked. Tea is in the staff kitchen. I'll brew it at 2 a.m. and leave it at her desk. The ring is in your office drawer. Marta has champagne on ice. Carlos is ready with the camera. We're all set. You didn't have to do all this. Are you kidding? We've been planning this for months. Marta has been crying for 3 weeks straight. This is the best thing that's happened to this hotel since you stopped checking radiators. Garrett laughed. Thank you. Thank you for making her happy. She deserves it. You both do. I'm nervous. Good, you should be. Proposing is terrifying, but she loves you. She's going to say yes. You think? I know, now go. Be nervous. Practice your speech. We've got everything handled. At 11 p.m., Lucia arrived for her shift. Normal Friday. Nothing unusual. She logged in, organized the desk, made a note to order more printer paper. At 2 a.m. exactly, Garrett walked down the stairs. She looked up, smiled, the smile that still made his heart skip. Right on time, she said. I'm consistent. You're predictable. Is that still adorable? Always. He walked to the desk. She came around to meet him. Happy anniversary, he said. She froze. You remembered? Of course I remembered. 1 year ago today you hummed Frank Sinatra at 2 a.m. and I pretended to check a radiator in June. 1 year ago today you looked at me like I was crazy and I knew I was going to fall in love with you. Was it the terrible excuse or the insomnia that won you over? Both. Definitely both. She kissed him. He kissed her back. The lobby was quiet except for the sound of their breathing. I have something for you, she said. You do? She went to the desk, pulled out a small wrapped package, handed it to him. He opened it. Inside was a record, original vinyl, mint condition. Round Midnight, Thelonious Monk, 1957 pressing. How did you I've been looking for months, found it at an estate sale last week. It's the song you said sounds like insomnia feels. I wanted you to have it. He stared at the record, then at her. This is perfect. It's your song. Thank you. He set it down carefully, took her hands. I have something for you too, he said. What? He gestured at her desk. She turned. There were 2 mugs of chamomile tea, already made, still steaming. You made the tea, she said. Tradition. It's going to be terrible. I know, but it's our terrible. She picked up a mug, took a sip, made the same face she always made. Still the worst tea I've ever had. 1 year later and I haven't improved. Not even a little. Should we sit? We should. They took their usual chairs, sat across from each other. The small table between them had held hundreds of terrible tea conversations. Tonight would be different. Can I ask you something? Garrett said. Anything. Do you remember what you said the first night when you offered me tea? I said, will it help? And you said, no, but it's warm, and company helps more than tea. You remember? I remember everything, every conversation, every song you hummed, every moment. Me too. He set down his mug. She set down hers. A year ago I was just existing, he said. Going through motions, maintaining everything exactly the same because changing felt impossible. Then you showed up, started humming jazz like you owned the place, made me terrible tea. Looked at me like I was worth seeing. You were. You are. You reminded me what it feels like to want something, to look forward to something. You made 2 a.m. feel less like punishment and more like possibility. Garetta, wait, let me finish. I practiced this. She smiled, waited. You told me once that your grandmother said music fills the spaces where people should be. You were right. This lobby was empty before you got here. Not just physically, emotionally. It was a building full of memories instead of life. Then you filled it with music, with warmth, with you. And suddenly it felt alive again. He stood up, she stood up. I don't want to fall asleep anymore, he said. I want to be awake with you. I want to make terrible tea at 2 a.m. for the rest of our lives. I want to hear you hum jazz standards and watch you play piano and listen to you murmur to yourself when you think I'm not paying attention. She started crying. Couldn't help it. I have one more excuse for being in the lobby, he said. She laughed through tears. What's that? He got down on one knee, pulled out the ring. I wanted to ask you to marry me. She covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Lucia Torres. Will you marry an insomniac hotel owner who makes terrible tea and used to check radiators at 2 a.m.? Will you hum jazz standards at me for the rest of our lives? Will you let me love you every day and every night and every moment in between? She whispered to herself. Don't cry, just say yes. Don't mess this up. I heard that, he said softly. I know. Is that a yes? Only if you promise to let me hum during the ceremony. Deal. And you have to stop pretending you're checking things. No more excuses, just honesty. Already done. This is the last excuse. From now on, just truth. I'm here because I love you. Good. So is that a yes? Yes, yes to everything. Yes, forever. He put the ring on her finger, stood up. She threw her arms around him. They kissed in the lobby. At 2:07 a.m., exactly 1 year and 7 minutes after their first meeting. Behind them, they heard a sound, clapping. They turned. The entire staff was there, hiding behind the concierge desk. Marta, Zoe, Carlos, Jorge, everyone. Marta was sobbing. Zoe was filming on her phone. Carlos was popping champagne. Finally, Zoe yelled. I told you, Spring, Marta shouted through tears. Pay up, someone else called. Garrett looked at Lucia. Lucia looked at Garrett. They've been planning this, haven't they? She asked. For months, apparently. Should we be mad? Probably. But we're not. Not even a little. The staff surrounded them. Hugs. Congratulations. Marta crying on everyone. Zoe giving detailed instructions for the wedding she'd already planned in her head. At 3:47 a.m., the staff finally left. Champagne drunk, plans made, joy everywhere. Garrett and Lucia were alone in the lobby again. What happens now? She asked. What do you want to happen? I want to play you a song. Which one? The one I've been saving. She went to the piano, sat down, started playing. At last, Etta James, beautiful, romantic, the song about finally finding love. Garrett came to the piano, stood next to her. I love this song, he said when she finished. I know it's ours now. Play it at the wedding? Already planning to. Good. He kissed her. She kissed him back. The piano was silent. The lobby was theirs. One more thing, he said. What? Hum it for me, the wedding march. I need to practice. She started humming. He joined in. Both of them terrible, completely off key, not caring at all. We're awful at this, she said. We really are. Good, I wouldn't have it any other way. 3 months later, April, small ceremony in the hotel garden, 28 guests, string quartet playing jazz standards. Lucia wore a simple white dress. Garrett wore a navy suit. Both of them smiled through the entire ceremony. When it came time for vows, Garrett spoke first. I promise to make you terrible chamomile tea every night at 2 a.m. for the rest of our lives. I promise to listen to every song you hum even when you think I'm not paying attention. I promise to never use radiators as an excuse again. Just honesty, just love, just us. Everyone laughed. Marta sobbed. Lucia spoke next. I promise to keep humming even when I'm off key, even when you're trying to sleep. I promise to fill every quiet space with music and warmth and love. I promise that 2 a.m. will always be ours. No matter where we are or what we're doing, we'll always have our time. The officiant smiled. By the power vested in Mia Auo. Garrett started humming, soft at first, then louder. At last. Lucia joined in, then Zoe, then the whole wedding party. The officiant laughed. I've never had a wedding where everyone hummed the recessional before I pronounced them married. But I suppose there's a first time for everything. We're musical, Lucia said. It's a thing. Clearly, well then, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride. He did. She kissed him back. Everyone cheered. The string quartet played at last properly while the newlyweds hummed along. At the reception, Zoe gave a speech. I met Lucia 6 months before she met Garrett. She was nice, professional, good at her job. But there was something missing. She was going through motions. Then one night the boss started checking radiators at 2 a.m. and suddenly Lucia was alive, laughing, humming love songs, leaving notes, being completely, obviously, adorably in love. Everyone laughed. Garrett was the Garrett. Same. 3 years of being frozen. Then this woman shows up humming Frank Sinatra and suddenly he's smiling again. Buying pianos, hiring jazz bands, being human. Zoe raised her glass. To Garrett and Lucia, who proved that the best love stories start at 2 a.m. over terrible tea. May you never sleep through the night. May you always have music. May you hum together forever. Hear, hear. Glasses clinked. Music played. Dancing started. At 11 p.m. the reception ended. Guests left. The garden was cleaned. Garrett and Lucia went inside. Not upstairs. Not to bed. To the lobby. 2 a.m. Wedding night. Their time. They still wore their wedding clothes. Lucia's dress. Garrett's suit. Both slightly rumpled from dancing. There were 2 mugs on the desk. Chamomile tea. Still warm. Marta, Lucia said. Definitely Marta. They picked up the mugs, sat in their chairs, drank their terrible tea. How does it feel? She asked. Being married? The same. Better. Perfect. Same. Are you tired? Exhausted? Want to go to bed? Not yet. Me neither. They sat together, held hands across the table. The lobby was quiet except for the sound of their breathing. Thank you, he said. For what? For humming, for terrible tea, for filling the quiet, for making me want to be awake. Thank you for listening, for coming down every night, for loving me enough to hire a jazz band at 2 a.m. I'd do it again. I know. She stood up, pulled him up, started humming. Dance with me. I'm still a terrible dancer. I don't care. They danced in the empty lobby, no music except her humming. Both of them exhausted, both of them happy. He tried to hum along, off-key. Wrong notes, terrible. She laughed. He laughed. We're awful at this, she said. We really are. Good. At 2:47 a.m. they finally stopped dancing, just stood there, holding each other, the lobby silent. Can I ask you something? She said. Anything. Still can't sleep? He smiled, the question he'd heard for 3 years. The question that used to hurt. Now it just made him happy. No, he said, but now I don't want to. She kissed him. He kissed her back. The lobby at 2 a.m., their place, their time, their forever. And somewhere in the distance a radio played softly. At Last, by Etta James. They hummed along, terrible and beautiful and exactly right. What did you think of Garrett and Lucia's story? Let us know in the comments. Rate this story from 0 to 10. What score would you give it? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to catch all our stories. And check out more emotional stories by clicking right here on the end screen.